As president, I am pleased to welcome you on behalf of the faculty, staff, and governing boards of Weber State University to the institution's 147th commencement. The prelude and processional music were performed by the Weber State University Symphony Orchestra, conducted by Dr. Francisco de Galvez. Thank you. Seated on the platform are members of the Board of Trustees, Luenda Downs, Karen Fairbanks, Heather Hales, Alan Hall, Nolan Karras, Cash Knight, Scott Parson, Steve Starks, Dr. Jeff M. Stevens, and Kevin Sullivan. We are very pleased that Dr. F. Ann Milner, former president of the university and past honorary degree recipient, is with us today. Members of the Utah State Board of Regents, Daniel Campbell, France Davis, and Steve Lund have joined us. We'll also like to welcome Commissioner David Buehler of the Utah System of Higher Education. We're pleased to have honorary degree recipients David Hall, George Hall, Catherine Lindquist, and Vicki McCall. Past honorary degree recipients, faculty, staff, and student body officers are seated on the floor in front of me. I would especially like to acknowledge our faculty and staff who are retiring this year. That's you, Jim Christian. Thank you. Thank you for your dedication and service to the university. We wish you well in your new endeavors. Let's give them all a round of applause. Welcome, graduates. When you decided to attain a college degree, you did more than invest in an education. You embarked on a transformational journey. Today, as you celebrate your accomplishment, think of the person you were when you took that first step toward a college education, and think of the person that you have become. You now have a basic set of skills and a growing expertise in your chosen field, but that's just the beginning. You've come to understand that the world is a complicated place. You are better equipped to take on complex problems because you understand that some issues deserve a critical viewpoint. In addition, you can better imagine what the world looks like through someone else's eyes. You have become more empathetic. Your confidence in navigating this world has likely blossomed. Maybe you had the opportunity to study abroad or participate in a community-engaged learning project. Perhaps your professors helped you realize something inside of yourself that you didn't know that you possessed. You discovered that you can accomplish great things. The fact that you're sitting here today, mortarboard atop your head, tassel hanging down, is a testament to that fact. You made your dream happen. And you will continue to accomplish great things and continue to be influenced by your professors and your classmates who are now your colleagues. Attaining an education at Weber State does more than fill your head with knowledge. It transforms your life for good. As you receive your diploma, realize that what you have accomplished today enables you to lead a better, more fulfilling, and more satisfying life. In turn, please guide others to better lives themselves. Use your own transformation to help transform others into happier, more capable people. Now I would like to take this opportunity to learn more about the class of 2016. Graduates, this is the interactive part of today's program. Will you help me out? Yeah? All right. So graduates, please stand up if you are the first in your family to graduate from college. You may be seated. Thank you. That gets me every time. Please stand now if you worked full-time or part-time while attending the university. I think that's everyone. Thanks. You may be seated. Please stand if you participated in a service learning project, had an internship, conducted undergraduate research, or completed a capstone or senior project. Please stand up. Thank you. You may be seated. Now, please stand if you are a military veteran or active military member. Thank you for your service to our country. Please be seated. Congratulations to each of you and best wishes for your future success. Today, graduates, as we celebrate your accomplishments, I would like to mention two faculty members who have transformed the lives of many of our graduating class. They are the recipients of the 2016 Brady Presidential Distinguished Professor Award, which is made possible by a generous gift from Rod and Mitzi Brady. Rod served as president of Weber State College from 1978 to 1985. His leadership left an indelible impression on this institution, as he stressed the importance of attracting and retaining dedicated faculty and urged them to constantly pursue teaching excellence. We would like to sincerely thank Rod and his wife Mitzi for their continuous support of Weber State University and their thoughtful contribution of this award to honor faculty members who demonstrate outstanding teaching, scholarship, and community service. The Brady Presidential Distinguished Professors for 2016 are Dr. John Mull and Dr. Paul Swanevelt. Would you stand up, please? Thank you. I will formally recognize these worthy recipients during their respective convocations for the College of Science and the Jerry and Vicki Moyes College of Education. And a detailed list of their extensive accomplishments is found in the program. You will soon have the opportunity to hear from Tessa Diamond, one of our outstanding graduates for the 2016 class, who will deliver the student address. Following Tessa's remarks, we will view a short video featuring fellow graduates. Board of Trustees members and vice presidents will present honorary degrees to George Hall, Catherine Lindquist, Vicki McCall, and David Hall. David Hall will then provide our commencement address. He will be followed by a performance of the Weber State University Symphony Orchestra. While at Weber State, English teaching graduate Tessa Diamond broke a sweat over more than just her studies. She worked as a cycling instructor, high school assistant soccer coach, and functional fitness consultant. When she wasn't doing that, she was skiing, snowboarding, water skiing, wakeboarding, biking, and climbing. Somehow, in between that, she represented and aided her fellow students and others as the WSU Clubs and Organizations Chair, WSU Service Vice President, WSU Leadership Vice President, WSU Student Association Mentor, and in other capacities. In addition to serving her local community, she has performed service in her global community, in Mexico, Ecuador, and Guam, to be exact. Did I mention she was also a student? She was recognized as 2015 Woman of Weber and 2014 Weber State Homecoming Queen. With all this, it's difficult to have not run into Tessa during her time at Weber State. If this is your first introduction, however, it is my pleasure to introduce Tessa Diamond.
A few months back, while sitting in a conference of high school educators, I realized something. I don't know very many working professionals who care about investing their time with teenagers. I have been surrounded by people my entire life, people in different cities, countries, classes, and workplaces, and only a handful of those I've met are actually interested in helping teens. But thankfully, there are a select few adults who want to help, teach, and influence teenagers. And thankfully, there are people who want to be artists, people who want to be social workers, bankers, and coaches. Even though we Wildcats didn't all sit in the same classrooms, we do all know what it means to be human, to be people. So technically, all of us have been studying the same thing throughout our university experience: humanity with a twist. Every day, we've learned a little more about what it means to be human, what it means to better other people while bettering ourselves. I come from a family of bread bakers. Our history of dough stretches back almost 30 years and spans 4 generations. As practiced bakers, we know that the best loaf of bread has 5 simple yet crucial ingredients: yeast, water, salt, honey, and flour. Each ingredient plays a necessary role. Yeast allows the bread to rise, becoming fluffy and fragrant. Water acts like glue, keeping all the other ingredients stuck together. Salt and honey add essential flavor. Flour, of course, gives substance to the thing. If one of these ingredients is left out, the bread will not become bread, but rather a mess of nothing. About 25 years ago, early in his baking career, my dad baked an entire batch, about 100 loaves, of seemingly perfect bread. The bread looked beautiful and smelled exactly like hot bread is supposed to smell. It wasn't until he tasted it that he noticed something was wrong. After retracing his steps, he realized he had forgotten the salt, causing the bread to taste terrible, therefore rendering it inedible and unsellable. Every loaf was thrown away, and the process began again. Only this time, it started with a giant sign being placed on the bread mixer that stated, "Don't forget the salt, stupid." My fellow graduates of 2016, we are the ingredients of our community. Just as yeast, honey, salt, flour, and water are vital to creating the perfect loaf of bread, we, the nurses, interior designers, geologists, engineers, and accountants of Weber State are vital to each other. Thank goodness educators care about being educators, because there aren't many who do. And thank goodness dental hygienists care about being dental hygienists, because there aren't many who do. Thank goodness hotel managers care about being hotel managers, because there aren't many who do. Think about how much time we spend on social media, reading the newspaper, blogs, and magazines, and talking on the phone. The fact that we spend so much time looking at people, reading about people, and thinking about the ways in which we relate to people is because we are living, breathing, thinking, creating, moving, loving things. We understand the world of being human, and we know the importance that it holds. We want to know about each other. We are interested in each other. We believe in each other. If we don't have a few of every person who cares, then really, we don't have anything at all. We rely on each other to do what each of us love. We depend on passion to drive those around us to do the things we cannot. We need each other. We are not graduating with the same degrees. Thank heavens, because I'm telling you, I don't comprehend numbers beyond 10. And I can't create inspirational art, and I don't have the ability to decipher an X-ray. Not only do I have trouble with these things, but I don't really like them. But I do love English, and I do love teaching. I have a passion to study humanity in my way. And you know, that's the thing. No matter what specific field we graduate in today, we are all graduating into the world and the study of people. So let's get it. Let's show the world what we're made of, what we've learned and what we know. Let's show the world that we are here today as the graduating class of 2016, and that we have done it all because, well, because people.
When I started back to Weber State, I had been out of school for several years raising a family. As I went back to school, it really made a big difference to my family and my children. I think they saw how hard I was working and saw that school was important to me and that good grades were important to me, and it affected them in a very positive way. My husband last year went back for his master's degree, and in the fall semester we had all 6 of us in school and every one of us got straight A's. Before I went back to school, I think I had a lot less confidence than I have now. It's really made me a better person, and all I can say is, watch out, who knows what I can do now.
Since I was a little kid, I always wanted to be a student athlete, and Weber State has made that possible. I've been here for 5 years, and for 4 of those 5 years, I was a full-time student athlete. Student athletes, in order to be successful, they have to be really, really disciplined. We like to emphasize that student is first because we know that that's what's most important, is to get an education. And we're blessed to be able to play the sport that we love while we're doing it. As far as my coaches go, they're always really, really good about making sure that you're getting your work done as a student. I work hard, but some things don't come easy, and I had a lot of really, really good professors and instructors that were willing to take the time to help me. The staff and faculty definitely help with directing your dreams. I feel like after graduation, I'll be able to take on the world.
It's not just my dream that I'm finally graduating in, it's my sister's as well. She always wanted to be a dental hygienist, and she died a month before graduation, and so she never got the opportunity. My sister was the example. She always set the example. She was the first one to get into college. She was the one who inspired me to love dental hygiene, and now I get to graduate. And I get to do what she always wanted to do and what I love. My professors in the program have been the most wonderful, supportive group that I could have ever asked for. They weren't just my professors, they were part of my family. I couldn't be more pleased with what I've been able to accomplish so far. I made it! I finally did. After everything, it was worth it.
When I was 22, I realized I had no passion for what I was doing. I was going through the motions, the daily routine. I was stuck. I was working at the Old Navy in Riverdale, and so Weber State University just happened to be right up the street. So at 22, I started at Weber State, and it was a blessing in disguise. I am going to grad school in Brussels, Belgium. It's called the University of Kent Brussels School of International Studies. My emphasis that I've worked on for this last year of my undergrad and what I want to continue doing there is on genocide prevention and crimes against humanity prevention. Dr. Stephanie Wolf opened me up to that passion, and this last summer of 2015, I had the opportunity to do a study abroad in Rwanda to go study the genocide, and that took that passion from an interest to a die-hard passion, and just seeing a whole society come together and be unified after something like that. I would love to be a part of that in the future.
I'm the only international student is from Syria. First I came as a tourist a year before I got admitted to Weber, and then I drove next to Weber State University. Oh, I fell in love with it. I met my wife at Weber State. I met her first at the door of library through friend, and then I saw her going to the shuttle bus and said, oh, I really would like to talk to her. I really want to know her better. So I went to the shuttle bus and I talked to her. Of course, my English was terrible, but she tried to help me to speak and explain what I want to tell her. So this is how I met her. And then I proposed to her with the help of the WSUSA faculty and leaders. I proposed to her in the Wildcat Theater, and I'm glad that she said yes.
I am a first-generation student. I've always wanted to make my parents proud by continuing my education and getting my degree. My dream came from them. They weren't able to go to college and get the degree that they wanted to, so the fact that I had that choice to attend higher education is what encouraged me to follow my dream. If it weren't for student involvement and leadership, I'm not sure how I would have been able to pay for college myself. I did get involved so that I could get a little bit of extra financial help, but I ended up falling in love with student involvement and leadership, and I continue to stay and serve as the vice president of Davis campus.
In August, I'll start medical school at the University of Pittsburgh. The application cycle was just last year. I was sitting in a room with my other applicants. Almost every single one of them came from prestigious schools. They started off, they would say their name. I'm from Vanderbilt, I'm from Stanford, and I just couldn't help but stand up confidently and with a big smile on my face say that I was from Weber State University. I have nothing but pride and joy for the institution.
Spending 5 years here at an institution where I knew I could get a great education, where I knew I'd be able to meet others and network, where I knew I'd be getting a job really quickly after graduating has just been comforting knowing that I chose a great institution to attend.
Weber State has always and will always be my home. It is a place where I have been the saddest, I've been the happiest, and I have been able to meet the most wonderful people through it.
With all the skills that I obtained from Weber State and with the good education that Weber State provided, I feel like I'm more confident in myself.
Weber State has made my dreams possible and has definitely changed my life for the better.
So the change that's happened with me is going from being complacent, doing all right, to realizing that I can do anything. And Weber State has helped me realize that potential.
Just the act of getting a degree, it's hard, and you have to push yourself to places that you wouldn't have gone without it. And I quit so many times. And I just kept coming back. It's a pretty big deal.
We will now proceed with the awarding of the honorary degree of the Doctor of Humanities. This is the highest honor Weber State University confers upon an individual, and we are pleased to award such a degree today. President White, honored guests, distinguished faculty, it is my recommendation as a member of the Board of Trustees that the honorary degree of Doctor of Humanities be conferred upon George Hall. Will Nolan Karras, member of the Board of Trustees, and Jan Winifred, Vice President of Weber State, please escort Mr. Hall to the podium and assist in the hooding.
As a leader of a third-generation family business in Ogden, George Hall has a deep sense of responsibility for the community. Mr. Hall serves as a managing partner of the Elliott Hall Company and is also actively involved in directing investment funds, strengthening business innovation in Utah. For over 30 years, he has served as a director of the Bank of Utah. Mr. Hall's service includes chairing the Weber County Ramp Board and serving as president of the Boy Scouts of America Trapper Trails Council, along with numerous other leadership positions with nonprofit boards and community organizations. Mr. Hall and his wife Mary have received several honors, including the American Red Cross Lifetime Achievement Heroes Award and the Weber Pathways Trailblazer Award. The Halls have 4 children. At Weber State University, Mr. Hall is the chair of the Arts and Humanities Advisory Council and serves on the steering committee for the Dream 125 Capital Campaign and is a board member for the WSU Foundation. Weber State University is pleased to recognize George Hall with a Doctor of Humanities honorary degree.
For his commitment to local industry, community, and university, the Board of Trustees and President Charles A. White, on behalf of Weber State University, confer upon George Hall the degree of Doctor of Humanities.
President White, honored guests, distinguished faculty, it is my recommendation as a member of the Board of Trustees that the honorary degree of Doctor of Humanities be conferred upon Catherine Lindquist. Will Heather Hells, member of the Board of Trustees, and Brett Ellis, Vice President of Weber State, please escort Catherine Lindquist to the podium and assist in the hooding.
Dr. Catherine Lindquist has framed her life with education, beginning with teaching high school English to retiring as a professor of honors humanities courses at the University of Utah. While raising her 4 children as a single parent, Dr. Lindquist earned graduate degrees, leading to a PhD in American Studies. Teaching at the University of Utah, she coordinated the Bachelor of University Studies program and contributed to the Lowell Banyan Community Service Center. She continues to advise in several capacities at the U. Dr. Lindquist served as a board member of the Olesi Bugu Utah Alliance, traveling to Mali, West Africa, to provide humanitarian assistance. She currently is on the board of the Nature Conservancy of Utah. In 2005, Dr. Lindquist was appointed as a trustee of Weber State University. In this capacity, she initiated the Environmental Issues Committee, working to make the university a model of sustainability. She also serves on the Arts and Humanities Advisory Board. In support of her involvement with the Center for Community Engaged Learning at WSU, Dr. Lindquist endowed the John A. Lindquist Community Engagement Award to honor her father's love for the university. Dr. Lindquist is married to Jim Moore and is an accomplished artist. She is the recipient of the WSU Crystal Crest Presidential Award. Weber State University is pleased to recognize Catherine Lindquist with a Doctor of Humanities honorary degree.
For exhibiting a life revolving around the passionate pursuit of education and dedication to helping others, the Board of Trustees and President Charles A. White confer upon Catherine Lindquist the degree of Doctor of Humanities.
President White, honored guests, distinguished faculty, it is my recommendation as a member of the Board of Trustees that the honorary degree of Doctor of Humanities be conferred upon Vicki McCall. Will Wenda Downs, member of the Board of Trustees, and Norm Tarbox, Vice President of Weber State, please escort Vicki McCall to the podium and assist in the hooding.
Vicki McCall is a Weber State alumna, businesswoman, and realtor who has made significant contributions to supporting national defense in northern Utah. After receiving a degree in political science from Weber State College, Ms. McCall found professional success as a licensed real estate agent, receiving numerous awards and accolades. Ms. McCall and her husband Ron have 2 children. In 1998, Ms. McCall was appointed by the Secretary of Defense to serve as chair of the Defense Advisory Committee on Women. She is also a member of Air Combat Command Civic Leader Group. Ms. McCall is the founder and past president of the Utah Defense Alliance, an organization committed to supporting national defense objectives through partnerships with government and private entities. She was also a candidate for Utah's 1st Congressional District. Ms. McCall has served on numerous community and corporate boards, including time spent as chair of the Ogden Regional Medical Center and on the Wells Fargo Women's Financial Services Board. She currently serves on Weber State University's John B. Goddard School of Business and Economics Advisory Board. For her contributions, Ms. McCall was honored with the Air Force Distinguished Public Service Award, the highest award the Secretary of the Air Force may grant a private citizen. Weber State University is pleased to recognize Vicki McCall with a Doctor of Humanities honorary degree.
In recognition of a life lived with patriotism, tireless support of service members, and dedication to both state and nation, the Board of Trustees and President Charles A. White, on behalf of Weber State University, confer upon Vicki McCall the degree of Doctor of Humanities.
Good morning, Wildcats. President White, honored guests, and distinguished faculty, it is my recommendation as chairman of the Board of Trustees that the honorary degree of Doctor of Humanities be conferred upon David R. Hall. Will Steve Starks, member of the Board of Trustees, and Brad Mortensen, Vice President of Weber State, please escort David Hall to the podium and assist in the hoodie.
David R. Hall is a Utah innovator and business leader with over 850 patents to his name. As president of Novatech, Mr. Hall leads a respected company that has created, patented, and licensed hundreds of innovations to solve global issues. As the son of Weber College alumnus H. Tracy Hall, inventor of the synthetic diamond, Mr. Hall has expanded his father's legacy through his own inventions and leadership in construction, drilling, manufacturing, and data networking industries. The Utah Genius Awards recognized Mr. Hall as one of the top inventors driving Utah's creative economy. Mr. Hall is also the president of New Vistas Foundation, which is dedicated to creating an urban model and economic system for the 21st century through sustainable principles. Mr. Hall and his wife Karen, along with their 5 children and other family members, participated in the naming of the soon-to-be-complete Tracy Hall Science Center at WSU. Weber State University is pleased to recognize David R. Hall with a Doctor of Humanities honorary degree.
For recognition of a life of innovation that has led to major business successes, that has benefited industry, technology, and humanity, the Board of Trustees and President Charles A. White, on behalf of Weber State University, confer upon David R. Hall the degree of Doctor of Humanities. Now I'm very pleased to introduce you to our commencement speaker today, and honorary degree recipient, David R. Hall. David.
I'd like to thank Weber University for this degree and this honor that you've given to me today. And I want to congratulate all of you who have worked so hard and for so long for this special day. My mother, who attended Weber State in 1940, she passed away in 2005. But I think I can hear her saying to me, David Richard, now that you've finally graduated, isn't it time for you to get a real job? And I'll bet many of you will hear that same thing from your moms. So it's time for us to start looking for and running into problems. And why do I say, why are you supposed to run into problems? Problems require solutions. And finding solutions create opportunities for everyone. As I've reflected on the lives of my grandparents and my parents, I've found that the problems that they encountered in life led to solutions that opened up opportunities that resulted in actual growth for themselves and for others. My father, Tracy, for instance, was the oldest of 5 sons. He was very inquisitive, and he had a really high interest in science. In fact, he was so sure of what he wanted to do in life that he informed his 4th grade teacher in Marriott, Utah, that someday he was going to work for General Electric and the Edison Labs. When Tracy was 14, however, the family had a real struggle. They couldn't make the mortgage payments on their home. And so on December 16th, 1934, they had to move from their Harmon Marriott into a small rental home in Ogden. Aaron Tracy, who was president of Weber State at the time, and an uncle to the 5 Hall boys, encouraged them to take advantage of higher education by preparing for and attending Weber State. Since they had lost the farm, they needed to find a new way to make it in life, and so education became the family mantra. Tracy was the first of 5 boys to attend Weber State and was a beneficiary of what at the time was a work for tuition program. He'd come early in the morning between 4 and 7 and was janitor, cleaning all the toilets. And then in the evenings, he led a band and played the piano to pay for his education. And I noticed as you rose up when President White asked you how many worked, that everybody did. And I was really happy to see that. Is at Weber State also at a football game, so don't ever down football, all right, that my father and mother met each other. My mother had just started her studies, and so all of my siblings, and actually all of our children, have a lot to thank Weber State for. They got us together. After graduating from Weber in 1940, my father continues his education at the University of Utah and actually became the first PhD graduate in chemistry under Dr. Henry Eyring. Dr. Henry Eyring was instrumental in helping him secure a job, that dream job at General Electric in the labs in Schenectady, New York. So his 4th grade dream actually came to pass because he went into education. There he joined a group that was trying to attempt what was really considered to be impossible, turning carbon to diamond. You know, that's like turning lead to gold. Over a period of several years, he and others tried hundreds of experiments, literally hundreds, for many years, with lots of failure. Each failure presented additional opportunities that led to the next experiment. Finally, on December 16th, 1954, 20 years after the farm was lost, Tracy completed another experiment, and after examining the results of that experiment and seeing with his own eyes thousands of tiny crystals, he recorded the following: "My hands began to tremble. My heart beat rapidly. My knees weakened and no longer gave support. I knew at that instant that diamond had finally been made by man." The failure of a farm and 20 years of patient effort and study brought the world the great discovery of man-made diamond. Man-made diamond was critical invention that enabled thousands of other inventions that we're all the beneficiary of. For instance, automatic machining of all manufactured parts are dependent on diamond. Our automobiles, our appliances, our modern airplanes, even the granite kitchen countertops that we have, that was impossible without man-made diamond. It also enabled important things like the manufacturing of fiber optics, lasers, and silicon, which in turn enabled the modern computer chip. The invention of man-made diamond was announced by GE on February 15th, 1955, and that was my 8th birthday. So I grew up really exposed to this new material and the knowledge of which that helped me in other opportunities that came to me in life. 50 years ago, when I was 19 and on a mission for the LDS Church in Australia, I was in a town called Mooney. And Mooney had a drilling boom going on. There were drilling rigs all over the place, and they were drilling for oil, and they used drill bits as stops in front of their stores, because once they wore out, they were worthless, so they were car stops. I was aware of a new invention that my father had done called polycrystalline diamond. And so I saw all the worn out bits. They were drilling just 300 feet and thought, if we put polycrystalline diamond on those bits, they'd last a lot longer and they'd probably drill faster. I wrote home really excited about this idea, wrote to my dad, and all he did was write me back and said, get back to missionary work. So yeah. Anyway, I returned home and thought I'd be able to convince my dad about the idea, but he really didn't have any interest in it. So for all of you that can't get your parents interested in your ideas, I hope you'll listen to the rest of the story and learn from it. You just have to be patient. When I finished college at BYU, I started my first professional job at Ingersoll Rand. And luckily, they gave me an assignment to work on new rock drilling systems. And I eventually got my boss to be interested in putting polycrystalline diamond on those bits. We flew out again really excitedly to Provo to meet with my father and his partners. And they weren't interested, again. So we went to their competitors, General Electric, with the idea, and after many meetings with General Electric, they agreed to work with us. We started testing the products, and the product we were using was actually for another application, so we had to modify it. And after a long time, we got just a little bit of success. But eventually, GE and Ingersoll Rand, they both lost interest because usually companies have a hard time going for more than 3 years on something, and it was going on 5. So, and there was also a downturn in the industry. So in 1976, I decided to start my own business and pursue the idea on my own. My wife and I sold our home in Princeton and moved to Provo and used all of the funds to start up a business, all of them, and more. And as with a lot of companies, you run out of funds. And the failure forced me to go back and get a real job. I did get a job with my father's company and worked on their products for 5 years before finally convincing a few in the company to work on applying polycrystalline diamond to drill bits. After another 5 years, we finally had some success. And so in 1986, I took what I felt was a great product to the president of Hughes Tool, and Hughes Tool was the biggest drill bit company in the world. And the president of Hughes Tool said, "Hall, no one's ever gonna pay $50 for that product." So 20 years after the idea and all this work, I still had not succeeded. And I did not have much to show for all the work and the effort and time. As is common with all good ideas, many other very smart and great people started to work on the same idea. That's very common. Don't expect your idea to be only yours. So, after 10 more years, all right, there were finally enough people using it that about 50 to 75% of the industry was using it, and Hughes Tool themselves was paying $100 for the product instead of the 50 I started with. 10 years after that, there was even more success, and by the 40th anniversary, 75% of drilling was done with diamond. It's now been 50 years since the idea came to me. The product's used in nearly all of drilling, and many companies continue to make advancements to increase the productivity of the product. Drill bits now drill 10,000 feet, and they're able to drill 10 times as fast. Never in my wildest dreams did I ever expect an idea that I had in 1966 to take 50 years to become the standard in the industry. There were a lot of failures along the way, and many new problems kept cropping up that forced me and others to find solutions that opened up new opportunities for growth. Now, the success of the diamond bit, however, has created a lot of other problems. Oil and gas is cheap. If you noticed how gas prices have come down, and there's no reason why we're ever going to run out of oil and gas. But the problem is, we haven't figured out how to extract it without wrecking the environment, and we haven't figured out how to handle the waste products created in the burning of oil and gas. So, problems are great because they need solutions, and that opens up opportunities for those who desire and get the skills and have the patience to find the solutions. There are always solutions, but they're not going to come easy, and they're always going to require a lot more time than you anticipated. I encourage all of us to get to work and start running into solving problems. Let's view the problems that we encounter as opportunities for ourselves and others to make the world a better place for all.
Thank you to the Weber State Symphony Orchestra, and thank you, Dr. Hall, for your inspiring remarks and for giving our students something to work on for the next 50 years. We will now proceed with the presentation of candidates for graduates by Provost Madan Miner.
Will candidates receiving the associate's degree please rise? Will candidates receiving a bachelor's degree please rise? Will the candidates receiving a master's degree please rise? President White, as Provost of Weber State University, it is my distinct honor and pleasure to present these candidates who have completed all requirements of the certificates and degrees indicated in the program of the day and are deemed worthy of this distinction.
In the name of Weber State University, upon the recommendation of its faculty, and by the authority of the Utah State Board of Regents, I hereby confer upon each of you the appropriate certificate and degree indicated in the program of the day. As a symbol of your achievement, will all of the graduates please move the tassel from the right side of your cap to the left side. Graduates, although the journey you have taken has been a transformative one, one thing has remained constant: the support that you have received. Your graduation today is a personal achievement, but one that would not have been possible without the family, friends, faculty, staff, and others who supported you along the way. Graduates, let's give those who supported you a big round of applause. Thank you. You may now be seated. You will now hear from Heather Hales, President of the Weber State University Alumni Association.
On behalf of the Weber State University Alumni Association, congratulations, graduates. All that hard work, all those late nights of study have paid off, and you have a degree in your hand. A university commencement is steeped in tradition, and one of the traditions at Weber State is for the president of the Alumni Association to invite all alumni of Weber State to stand and be recognized. And it's that time now. So I invite all Weber State alum, everyone out there, please stand. And graduates, that includes you too. We applaud you all. Thank you. Look around, what an extraordinary group to be a part of, Weber State alumni. For over 125 years, this institution has been a place where dreams were born, nurtured, realized, and empowered for so many people. So graduates, as you celebrate the degree you earned, as you celebrate the people who helped you reach your goals, remember to celebrate the place where it all happened, your alma mater, Weber State. Graduates, please join us, the Alumni Association. We want to get to know you. You are an important part of this institution. We want to provide you with career and networking support. We want to keep you in contact with this university, and your alumni membership will not only keep you informed and involved, but it's a way that you can give back to Weber State. As our memberships support future Weber State students who are working toward their own graduation. Supporting students, providing programs for students to meet with academic success and that degree is what Weber State does. It did it for you. Celebrate the degree you earned. Celebrate where you earned it. You are now and forever a Wildcat.
Thank you, Heather. We appreciate everyone who planned, organized, and participated in the commencement ceremony. I would also like to recognize Alan Hall, our outgoing Board of Trustees Chair, who has participated in nearly 20 commencement exercises as a trustee. Thank you, Alan. If there are any in the audience who would like an additional program, they will be available at Portal 14, just above and to my left. You may pick them up after the conclusion of this commencement. For those who would like to view this entire ceremony, please refer to page 35 in your program for information on watching the commencement on Weber State's YouTube channel. Alumni, that's you graduates. Although today represents a transformation into a better life, I encourage you to continue your connection with Weber State University. No matter where you go in life, realize that Weber State will be here for you. You may always return to learn, to foster relationships with faculty, to support students who follow in your footsteps, and to take part in Weber State activities. You will always be a part of Weber State University, a place that helped you make your dreams happen. Now would you please join the Weber State University Symphony Orchestra, conducted by Dr. Francisco de Galvez and student vocalist Caleb Jardine, in singing our school song, Purple and White. For those of you who have not yet memorized Purple and White, there's one last quiz before you graduate. I'm just kidding. The words and music are printed inside the back cover of the program. The recessional by the graduates will then conclude the 147th commencement exercises of Weber State University. The audience, platform guests, and faculty should remain standing during the recessional. Please rise for our school song, Purple and White.
Proudly waving o'er old Weber, an ensign of truth and right. The flag, I love it, waves above. I love it with all my might. For royalty lies in its purple, and purity in its white. I'll honored be if true to thee, and dare to do the right. Oh, I'll be true to thee, oh purple and white, and I will stand by thee in any fight. For truth and right will